Hey, do you want to get out of your job search rut and finally land a position that aligns with your career goals and aspirations? If so, tune in because in this video, I'm sharing the 5 best job search moves you need to make right now. Hey, I'm Heather, a career strategy expert helping you land your next big career opportunity so you can grow in a field you love. If you've not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and remember to tap the bell notification so you're notified when I host a live training or publish a new video every week here on my channel. Here's the thing, the job market has changed dramatically over the past few years. We've seen everything from massive layoffs to record-breaking resignations. This has thrown job seekers and employers into a tailspin. Job seekers are now searching high and low for work they love, work that gives them meaning and purpose, while employers are desperate to hire the right person for the right position, someone that is dependable, trustworthy, and a charm to work with. And if you're spending your time scouring online job boards and waiting on callbacks that never happen, it's time for you to tune in. Today, I'm going to show you how to instead spend your time making meaningful career decisions that help you find your career purpose. And before we jump into the 5 best job search strategies to help you get hired doing work you love, make sure you take a look at my free resume writing masterclass where you'll learn the exact strategy that I teach my clients and my students to help them land more interviews and better job offers. Now, the training we're about to jump into today is so action-packed. You'll definitely want to take notes and watch until the end. Let's jump right into it. So the very first thing is we need to make sure that you are targeting the right positions. What I want you to do is I want you to really think about a few things. I want you to think about who you are. So who are you? What you like to do for work and what you can do right now that will actually work for you. Meaning I want you to dig deep into your strengths and what it is that you want to do right now that will actually work. Not a temporary band-aid fix, but something that you can really see yourself doing that fits into what you want in an ideal work schedule, like work-life balance. Okay, I want you to think about that. Now, I'm going to share with you some massive steps here because let me guess, you are feeling lost. So I'm going to give you a couple of things of what you need to be doing and where you need to pinpoint. Okay, so the very first thing, again, we're only on step 1, is I want you to conduct some sort of assessment. I'm going to kind of give you guys like an overview of what this looks like. So we're looking at some sort of self-discovery and some sort of self-assessment. Okay, so I'm going to give you some steps here. So the very first thing that I want you to think about is you need to take inventory of your goals and your desires. Okay, so what I want you to think about here is I want you to really think about what is it that I want to be doing? Like, what are my goals? What does that work-life balance look like? Okay, so you're now starting to look at your goals and your desires. The next thing that I want you to look at here is I want you to look at where do you want to be 1 year from now? Now, I'm not telling you, you don't need to go look at 5 years or 10 years because guess what? In 5 years, we're all probably going to be in a different situation, okay? We're going to have different life circumstances that have come our way that is going to force us to make certain decisions, and we might not be where we are right now. So what I want you to think about is just 1 year from now, where do you want to be? The next thing I want you to focus on is what type of work do you want to be doing? Do you want to maybe move into accounting? Do you want to move into product management? Maybe you want to be a flight attendant. Who knows what that is? And I'm going to show you in a second how to find that, but think about what type of work you want to be doing. The next thing I want you to think about is I want you to get ideas from a personality assessment. And I'm going to show you exactly where to go to do this. These are the 4 things that you need to do your self-discovery and your self-assessment. So personality tests come in many forms. We can learn basically anything we want about our personality just by doing a simple assessment. Keep in mind with all these tests, okay, and I'm talking, you've got your DISC, you got Myers-Briggs, you've got 10 different personality tests you can do just as a job seeker, okay? I want to say about these tests, because I'm about to break one down for you pretty specifically here. Keep in mind, they're all basically telling you the same thing. We all kind of fall into some category. We all kind of fall into a natural habit that we do or that we are. It's like our personality or a character. And all these personality tests, all they're doing is they're putting you in different categories, okay? You have to take these tests with a grain of salt. I could take one test today and score one way, and then in a week when I'm feeling totally different, I could take it again and have a different score. So what I'm saying as I'm going to share this with you, keep that in mind that all it is a category, but you can kind
of mold from one category to another depending on your day. But there are some true facts here, and you'll see as you do these personality tests on your own. 16personalities.com. This is a free version of what we call the Myers-Briggs. Okay, Myers-Briggs, I think if you want a super detailed page by page, this is who you are, this is what you should be doing, blah, blah, blah. I think it's $50. You can go do a search on Google and just type Myers-Briggs. This is a free version. I actually like this version when I do workshops or live trainings with either corporate or college students. This is the one we use, and it has a lot of great success. So 16personalities.com, all you're going to do is click on the take test. It takes about 7 to 12 minutes is what I have found to go through this, but I want to show you guys what's going to happen. Once you do that test, they're actually going to break you down into 4 different categories. Keep in mind, most of those personality tests, like if you've ever done the color personality test where you're red, yellow, blue, or white, this is pretty much the same. Everyone just calls it something different. I'm going with Myers-Briggs because this is pretty familiar to most people, and this is what a lot of organizations use. So when we're looking at your analyst, so again, it's going to come up and it's going to tell you exactly what you are. If you're an analyst, again, this is pretty self-explanatory. These are people that are strategic. They love to learn. They're a strong-willed leader, someone that's smart, someone that loves a good challenge. Okay, those are our analysts. Our diplomats are people that are like quiet, they're poetic, they're altruistic, they're charismatic, they're free spirits. We also have our sentinels. So our sentinels are people that are practical, they're reliable, they're very dedicated, they're loyal, they're social, they're popular, those type of people. They're excellent administrators and leaders. I'm actually a sentinel based on these personality tests. Then we also have our explorers. Our explorers are people that are ready for an adventure. These are actually entrepreneurs. A lot of entrepreneurs fall in this category. People that are spontaneous, energetic, enthusiastic, loves living on the edge. Now, when you do your personality test, what's going to happen is it's going to give you your category, but it's going to drill down even more specific. This is not like a personality trait training by any means, but one of the biggest things I'm seeing in the job market right now are people that are like, I don't know what I want to do. So again, we're honing in on what that might be. So here's the other thing too about this. You'll have personality traits from all of these, but the idea is to kind of get honed in on one so that we can look at what careers work best for you. You're going to go to 16personalities.com, find out what it is that you are. I have another resource to share with you. So if you go to www.truity.com, I love this one the best in terms of finding out which positions you should look at and target and which ones you should run far away from. So when you go to this website, you'll actually click on the very top. It says Myers-Briggs types. Now you could do the personality test here. I like how 16 Personalities lays it out for you. I think it's simple. It's easy to read. The questions are nice and easy. It's not complicated. But when you want to analyze who you are, then go to truity.com. You're going to click on the Myers-Briggs types at the top. From there, what I want you to do is find your personality type. So when you click on that drop-down menu, it's going to give you all of your personality types. So remember earlier when I said I'm a sentinel, number 3, I'm an ESFJ. So it tells you basically what you are. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at Truity to see what careers they're suggesting for you and which ones you should avoid. Now, this example is an INFP. If you're confused by this, don't be confused. When you take the test, it tells you exactly what you are. It's really easy. Take the test. It pops out your thing. You're going to go to truity.com and you're going to analyze what this is. So let me give you an example of an INFP. If I look at the top careers for INFP, they're talking about someone that is a writer, a photographer, a film editor, someone that might be a psychologist, a physical therapist, even a librarian. So there's a lot of different positions that they're saying this actually would be really good for someone that falls in this category. The other thing it's telling you is the careers you should avoid. So we don't want to be in the military. We don't want to be a police officer if we're an INFJ. Dentist wouldn't work out well, or even an engineer. So if you are like, which career should I even focus on? What should I do? This is the perfect starting point for you. Now, I want you to keep in mind, as you're looking at your category, I want you to also evaluate the categories that closely relate to you, because there's going to be something that shows up in there that might be something you never thought of, or you might be able to find like a cross-platform form in terms of this position's really related to this other position, maybe I want to start looking at those types of jobs. Let's jump into the second step that I have for you guys, and that is to target the right companies. Let me talk a little bit about this because I have some questions that I want you to ask yourself. So once we get that personality assessment in order and we kind of have an idea of some of those positions that we should be targeting, we're basically going to go out and look at what companies are hiring for these positions. Now, you could do something as simple as a web search, okay, which is totally fine, and you can use some of those popular job boards, but I only want you to do that for research purposes. That's kind of like step one. That's your starting point to say, like, okay, if I'm going into work for a company, let's say that one of the positions that it recommended for me was an accountant again, which again, that's going to be a very specific person. I could start looking for who's hiring for that accountant position. From there, I'm going to see who's popping up on those job boards, but I'm not going to just stop there or apply there. I'm going to get a little bit deeper because I'm now going to start recognizing companies that are hiring for those job boards. And then what I can start looking at is who are those companies' competitors, or who are some companies that are kind of like working parallel with that other company. And I'm going to start seeing if they're hiring for that position. Now, keep in mind, you guys, another thing that us career experts tell you guys all the time, and I say this over and over and over, is these positions are not always posted online. So if you have an ideal position in mind and you have an ideal company, but you are not seeing that that company has that position listed, don't let that stop you. So again, we're looking at the companies rather than like, oh, there's 100 companies out there hiring. Which one do I want to work with and what position do I want in that company? We're not doing that. We're getting very specific with our job search. When it comes to your target companies, you are looking at companies that have some sort of shared vision. You appreciate what it is that they're doing. Maybe you love their products or their services. It's a company that you respect. You'd love to work for them. You're looking at those companies that align with who you are as an individual and that will be able to give you that work-life balance, that will be able to support you where you guys can have that shared vision. That's where we're going to target those specific companies. Now, I have 3 questions that you need to make sure you're asking yourself. Question number 1, who is hiring for that dream role? You're going to look at the certain companies that pop up. You're going to pay attention to those companies, who their competitors are, and anyone that's in the parallel field. Okay, so that's question number 1. Question number 2 is you need to examine their leadership team. So here's a really good example. If I'm looking on LinkedIn and I'm doing some research about that company, and I find that this company and their leadership team is really focused on like process improvements. And let's say that I look at their leadership team and they all have a 6 Sigma black belt. Okay. What I'm going to say is like, okay, when I'm going into this, I have to be focused on process improvements. When I'm going into my interview, I need to make sure I'm coming up with stories that show that. Okay. Because that's what their leadership team is all about. On the other hand, if I'm looking at the leadership team and let's say the CEO has 5 different companies that they've started in the last 12 years, this is a really good indication that they need someone quick in their decisions and that has an entrepreneurial mind. So when I go and I reach out to that leader, that's what I'm going to mention in my message to that leader. So that's really, really, really important. You have to pay attention to who their leadership team is. The next thing I want to mention here is what are the customers and employees saying? Let me pull this out really quick about these sites because you have to take it with a grain of salt. You're going to find people that love these companies and they think these companies are great, but you're also going to have the other end of that. You're going to have customers or employees that are so upset and so disgruntled. They want to say as many bad things about these companies as possible. So you're going to have that. Keep in mind, there have been studies done that say it takes 11 positive comments to equal 1 negative. So that 1 negative comment in your mind is going to be equivalent to those 11 positive comments. I want you to remember that as you're going through and looking at these reviews. You need to take them with a grain of salt, and I want you to focus on those top reviews, but then maybe look at some of those less favorable reviews, but be careful how high you hold the less favorable because people are much more willing to come in and talk really negatively about a company than they are to go in and give some positive reviews. So be careful with that, but these are really good places to look. You're just going to type in the company name and look at their reviews, Glassdoor and Indeed. Okay. So third step here is you need to build and nurture relationships. So you've got your ideal position. You've got some companies. When we're looking at that ideal list of companies, so again, step number 2, I want you to be looking at least 10 to 20 companies. That's a low number. You might have 5, you might have 30, but I want you to start with 10 to 20 and work from there. Once you get those 2 things in line, then you're going to look at building and nurturing those relationships on the inside. I want you to spend a few minutes doing this every single day. Keep in mind, you guys, this is something I have to do as well. If I am not communicating with someone in some way every single day, I know I'm not doing my job, meaning I'm not growing my business. I'm not helping job seekers. I'm not helping others get success, okay? If I'm communicating with you like I am now, or if I'm reaching out to other career experts and asking their advice, or if I'm developing relationships with corporations that might need my help, I know to me that's a good day. When I can at least spend 10 minutes a day talking to someone on LinkedIn about their expertise or meeting with a job seeker about what they need help with, to me, that's a good day. I want you to look at job seeking as the exact same thing. You need to be spending a couple minutes every single day making relationships and developing those relationships, okay? You're building connections consistently. You have to be building connections consistently. Now, let me tell you how you're going to do this. You're going to do this by connecting with leadership within those companies, hiring personnel. So keep in mind, leadership is different than the hiring personnel. So those are two different categories, and then others that are working on the inside. And again, the best way to do this is by using LinkedIn. Unless you want to just cold call the company or send a random email, you can do that as well. But LinkedIn is the perfect place to start because you can do your research and learn more about that leadership team. The other way to do this, again, is any type of in-person or online events. I know the in-person events, we attended one. It was great and it was so refreshing to be around people. I would say, especially if you're an extrovert, find events that are like this that you can attend. I have a bonus step for you guys. I want you to be leveraging the power of social media. What we are finding is that employers are going to social platforms and looking you up. They're looking you up on LinkedIn. They're looking you up on Twitter. They're looking you up on Facebook, and they're even looking you up on Instagram. If you have any unfavorable posts out there or anything that's going to cause someone to not want to hire you, you need to get rid of it now. On the other hand, if you have nothing about you, if you're not sharing anything, if you're just kind of like quiet, that's not very good either. So what you have to do is figure out from here on now, I have my positions I want to target. I've got my companies. I'm developing those relationships. Well, guess what? I'm also making posts on social that show that I can actually do this type of job, that show that I either am an expert or I'm transitioning and learning how to be an expert in this field. Maybe something that you learned, something in your industry, maybe something you're an expert on. You could even comment and interact with leaders and hiring personnel within those companies. This is what is landing jobs right now. The more active you can be and the more present you can be and the more you can show up for those companies that are hiring, you increase your chances of getting hired, okay? So again, I want you to review all your social accounts, make sure they're in good standing, and then I want you to focus on sharing your own content that relates to your industry. Now, the other thing, I'm going to give you guys a couple more tips here, is use popular hashtags to search for positions. Like, again, when we talk about job posts and whatnot, companies are posting their job on social and they're giving it a hashtag job opportunities or hashtag new job op. Okay, keep that in mind. If you can follow those hashtags and you see those positions pop up, you're going to see the person who posted it. You'll see the position. You can reach out to that person now on LinkedIn. You can comment on the post. There's so many ways that you can land positions right now. And then, of course, keep in mind when you're sharing business versus personal, LinkedIn is a very professional platform. You want to stick with as many professional posts there as possible. I mean, I think the occasional, here's my cat, Fluffy, or I went on a walk with my dog, Oscar, today. This epiphany came to my mind about blah, blah, blah. That's okay. Those things are okay, but try and keep it as professional as possible.
Now, let me know in the comments down below what your biggest takeaway was from this training. Let's continue the conversation down below. And don't forget to save your seat for my free resume writing masterclass to learn how to write a resume that will land you more interviews and better job offers. Even if you don't know where to start, I'll place a special link for you down below. And to help you conquer your next interview, click or tap the video right here to learn how to answer the most difficult interview questions. And if you like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button down below. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next video.